Well, next, let's get to that big miss by Netflix. Now, the stock is plunging today after reporting weak subscriber growth for the second quarter. You can see shares off about 10.5%. Now, the very important U.S. subscriber number dropped for the first time in nearly a decade. Let's bring in Santosh Rao to break all this down. He's the head of research for Manhattan Venture Partners. And Santosh, when you take a look at the numbers, take a look at the stock's reaction today, we're seeing a huge move to the downside. From your perspective, how bad is this report?
This one is bad. Let's not underplay this. It was a big miss in the domestic market, a bigger miss in the international market. So it was a miss by any stretch of the imagination or any metric. But I think they have missed in the past. 1 out of 5 quarters they have missed, and they've always come back. So in that sense, there's still hope. But overall, I think there's a combination of reasons. I mean, they said, is it a pullback issue? Is it a seasonality issue? Is it a pricing issue? We don't know. We think it's a little bit of both, all three. But going forward, I think they just need to prove that they can deliver. The big issue is, do they have the pricing power? And
do you think they do?
I think they do. Because of the content in the second half. I think it's the strong roster of shows coming into second half. And then they have a good show overall, good content slate, like I said, and they can go out and prove that they can get the subscriber base in.
So, Santosh, do you think that the second quarter that we saw, the disappointment here, that it's almost an anomaly when you take a look at Netflix, just how they performed in the past, and then given some of their key drivers here going forward?
Yeah, I mean, can they come back? I mean, that's a question.
Do you think it's just more of an anomaly? Do you think that this is just kind of a once-off type of thing where they actually lost some subscribers in the U.S. and they'll be able to regain their past momentum here going forward?
See, they have missed in the past. In the past, you would have said no problem. They'll come back because if history is any guide, they'll always come back. But now you have this competition coming up down the road. So I think there are some issues. You need to look deeper. But overall, I think they still have the power. The competition is not coming on for a few more quarters, and they have time to prove it. But more than that, I think the company has said that the 2019 net ads are going to be more than 2018. So they're very confident. And they said the July quarter, I mean, the third quarter is off to a great start. The retention rates are high. The growth is high. So I think they are reverting back to normal, and I think they can deliver. That's what they say.
Santosh, you mentioned their competition here a couple of times. I want to play on their earnings call last night. Their founder and CEO, Reed Hastings, actually commented on the growing number of streaming competitors. Let's listen to what he had to say.
There's a real battle for who will pay for content around the world. But it's not a zero-sum competition. I think everybody gets that. People will subscribe to multiple shows. I'd wager that most Netflix employees are HBO subscribers. It's a great competition that helps grow the industry. And the advantage of having something catchy like the streaming wars is it draws more attention. And because of that, consumers shift more quickly from linear TV to the streaming TV.
So, Santosh, when you take a look at what the landscape now compared to what it will be in just a couple of months, once we have Disney Plus, once we have, I don't know, another name like HBO Max, is Netflix still going to have the market dominance that it currently does today?
Absolutely will. I mean, Netflix has 150 million users. That's a huge, way above others. And the others are just getting started. So Netflix has the mind share, the brand name, everything on there. So they need to beat that. Netflix is the company to beat. And they have a long way to go. They're well established. They're in the remote corners of the world. Everybody likes it. And the show's coming on in India and in the Spanish channels. So I think these guys are very well diversified. And the second half slate will prove that they are very much in the game. Too early to throw in the towel, and they can come back, right?
Is there any concern, though, that Netflix is going to simply spend too much on original content? We know that will be even more important. A lot of their very successful shows, they're losing some of them, like Friends, like The Office. So they're going to have to put even more money behind some of these names. Is that a concern at all?
It is a concern, has been, but I think overall, it's not in the bigger frame of things. I don't think it is. They want to spend more on original programming because that's where they believe the future lies. So I think they're fine. I mean, the Friends and Office are a small part of the overall portfolio. So they're popular, of course, but I think they can get on. They have other original shows and more coming on, so they can make up for what these losses.
So you sound like you're pretty bullish on Netflix here going forward, just in terms of their potential growth over the next year or two. Where do you see this company going?
I think it'll keep going up. It should continue to grow. Of course, the multiples are stretched as long as they can deliver. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the fact that they missed is bad when you're trading at 90 times sales.
So it's today almost a buying opportunity then?
Absolutely. When you're trading at a very high multiple versus earnings, I think you need to prove. You're priced to perfection, like they say. So they need to prove that. So I think they will. Let's give them the benefit of doubt because they have done in the past. So competition is there, but they have the resources to beat that.
Still think they have an edge. All right, Santosh Rao, thanks so much for joining me
Thank
today.
you.